is calling 2023 CR 3681, State of Texas versus Damian Huff. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state defense?
Jay Moritz, Your Honor, from Mr. Huff.
And are you Mr. Huff?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Huff, did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Are you the same Damian Xerxes Huff who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2023 CR 3681 for the offense of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit assault on July 26, 2023 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Your Honor, the state is going to be going to have a.
Well, what motions are you proceeding on?
We're going to be proceeding on violation of condition number 19.
All right, if you would read that violation, please.
Yes, on or about the 10th day of June 2024, Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Damian Xerxes Huff, is then and there failed to attend alcohol and drug evaluation. The approved agency, TAP, BCC, SCD, in violation of condition number 19.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
And the other allegations?
We will be waiving all the review.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Huff, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 19, the court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you to 20 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition 19?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition 19 true. Is there a proposed agreement? And what is the proposed agreement?
Follow work conditions from probation and dependent on probation, with all the conditions remain in full effect, and then also have a TAP evaluation while the defendant's in custody.
And defense, are you in agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Probation, is this your agreement?
Yes, sir.
All right, you want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Damian Xerxes Huff.
All right, so why did you miss your TAP evaluation?
Just stuff was happening in my personal life, and I just really wasn't ready, I guess, or I couldn't attend to it, so I just slipped further into my substance abuse, I guess.
I'm sorry, what?
I just slipped further into like depression and not continuing forth with what I was supposed to do.
All right, so let me explain something to you. You have to make time for probation. If you don't make time for probation, then the next question is, do you have time to make time for prison life? Because on this case, and I'm trying to stress to you, on this case, you're looking at 20 years in prison. And a lot of people will come to me and say it's just marijuana. But in Texas, marijuana is not legal. And in Texas, you're not allowed to use marijuana unless you have a medical prescription for marijuana and it's approved by probation. Do you understand?
Yes.
So anytime you're thinking about not doing your conditions of probation because you don't have time and other things are happening in your life, just think about the fact that you will make time for 20 years in prison potentially. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So what has been going on in your life? You said other issues.
Yeah, just personal, like with my mother and stuff, like at home.
All right. What's going on at home?
They're just foreclosing on the house and everything, so that's kind of what's up in the air, like where to stay and everything.
All right. So how old are you?
29 years old.
All right. So you're going to have to find a place.
Yeah, definitely. And that's I've had that like like I've been on my own since about 17, and this just happened when I was like 27. So I moved back to my mom's and to see this through. And then they just came to foreclose on the house for 30 grand. So that kind of just put me in an odd spot when facing homelessness and other things like that.
All right. Well, I will tell you, usually in situations like that, they want somebody to pick up the phone and talk to them. Because sometimes it's not a buyer's market. And maybe you could talk to them and see what can be worked out. Maybe something can be worked out, maybe not. But the key is not avoiding.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what probation is about, not avoiding. Just pick up the phone and call probation. You could have called them and said, hey, I know I have a TAP evaluation schedule, but I'm having issues with my living situation at the moment. Foreclosure is happening. Can I reschedule it? And I am telling you, I believe they would have said you can reschedule.
Yes.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, deny the motion, alter and amend conditions to include TAP evaluation in custody and follow all TAP recommendations. And probation, is there anything else that he would need?
I was thinking maybe possibly a felony drug court now.
All right, we'll do a referral to felony drug court, and that will be in custody. Because it's Tuesday, felony drug court will probably be able to see you this week, and you need to be honest with them, okay? And is there anything else that you need from the court to help you be successful on this probation? Like any mental health issues, any other issues you may have?
No, I pretty much understand.
All right, and probation, if for some reason foreclosures happen and they're evicted, see if you can do a referral for him with that organization, Building Better Communities. And that's an organization that can help you at least find affordable housing, okay? All right, if there's nothing else. All right, good luck. We can go off the record. If something comes up and you need something, let probation know. If you feel as though they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. You understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2024 CR 008919, State of Texas versus Simon Anthony Hernandez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense,
Albert Chidas for Mr. Hernandez.
and are you Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all of the discovery and did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Hernandez, did you review the document entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, he was on both occasions.
Mr. Hernandez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 months in the state jail facility, and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to figure if I might be able to get 6 months and
Oh, no. So let me stop you there. I'm just going over what the plea bargain for you is.
yes, ma'am.
And then your attorney, if he wants to, he can argue for less. So according to this plea bargain agreement you reach, it's a cap of 8 months in the state jail facility. So what that means is that the court could sentence you, if I found there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty, the court could sentence you anywhere from 180 days up to the 8 months. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that to be your plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State is at the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Yes.
State any evidence.
Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses that the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. At the time of this offense, my client was homeless, no ID, no job, nowhere to live. What happened was an act of desperation on his part. He knows that, he knows he shouldn't have done what he did. He's trying to get his life back together. It would be helpful if we could keep the sentence at the minimum. The state is at 8, we're at 6. We're asking for 6. He doesn't have an extensive criminal history. He's just a guy who was homeless and saw an open car and got in. Shouldn't have done that.
All right, so what is his criminal history?
Because of Odyssey, it's a little hard for me to.
All right,
print
what's
it
your
out.
criminal history?
I had a possession charge, got dropped in the past. I had a terroristic threat. There was against a public servant, there was a misdemeanor. I also ended up having a trespassing charge, and before that, I think I fell asleep at a swimming pool. I forgot what I was arrested for, but I was arrested for falling asleep at the swimming pool. I didn't find nothing on me, nothing like that. I just was arrested for it. They told me I was resisting arrest, I think it was.
Okay, yes. Any objections to the court reviewing the criminal history?
No objection.
Thank you. And how old are you?
27.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll hear any argument for time.
Understood. Well, I think what Mr. Hernandez really means is that it was easier for him to take advantage of someone else in order to help himself. And from that perspective, 8 months seems more appropriate as a punishment for this offense.
All right, so Mr. Hernandez, I don't understand why, if somebody is homeless, which I understand there's an issue and people are homeless, and being homeless is not a crime. I don't understand why people think the go-to, and I should say some people think the go-to when you're homeless is, oh, let me commit a crime because I'm homeless. And then spare me, I was homeless, so I stole a car. And you stole a car and you drove it and you didn't have identification, you didn't have a license, and you didn't have insurance.
I would like to say it's not that I stole a car, I was sitting at a park. I mean, no one told me I could drive it, but no one told me I could. Like it's
Oh, okay.
I-
So,
truthfully, it was just there and unlocked.
so there was a vehicle there that was unlocked. Was that your vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Did you pay for it?
No, ma'am.
Did somebody have a for sale sign on the outside saying anyone who comes upon this vehicle, you have the permission to take it?
No, ma'am. I just seen an on car just there, and it was hot outside that day. I really had nothing to eat, nothing like that.
So
nothing
you just
going
took
on.
the car?
I didn't take it, ma'am. It was still at the place that it was at.
Mhm.
I didn't go any.
Oh, they
really
found
wouldn't
you
go
at the
for it.
park with the vehicle.
That's where I found the car,
Mhm.
there at that park. I didn't go anywhere except for one time, just I went down the road real quick, came right back and stayed at that park.
Mhm.
I didn't take the car from there, nothing like that. I found it there on and running. So I sat in it for a while. Whenever the cops see me, I was outside the vehicle.
And your bags were in the vehicle.
Just one, yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 8 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Let me explain something to you. Whose ever car that was, and they have the complainant's name in here, guess what? They go to the store, whether they leave their car with the keys running or whatever, You know, they should be allowed to do that. Should you do that? No. But I'm sure when that person came from wherever they were, they're probably thinking, oh my gosh, did I park my car somewhere else? They're looking for their car. Next thought, was my car towed? But it couldn't have been towed because I parked it in an appropriate place. So that person, let's say that person had an infant with them and they come out and it's hot because you said it was hot. They come out with an infant. No, let's say
Partner.
it's hot. They come out with an infant and their car is gone. Now, guess what? What is that person supposed to do? Oh, I see a car here. There's nobody in it. Let me just take it. Guess what would happen if everybody here, I'm sure everybody here has seen a vehicle before where maybe the keys are still in it or maybe nobody's sitting in it. What do you think would happen if everybody here said, you know what? I don't want to take the bus today, but this car, I know it's not mine. I'm just going to get it in and drive it away.
I doubt almost anyone in
No.
here has been through a rough time.
And you know what?
sometimes.
And then, hey, guess what? This house, the door is open. I don't have a place to stay. Let me just go in here and claim this home as my own. Yeah, that's not happening. We're not in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. So there are laws, and one of the laws are don't take what doesn't belong to you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Court is calling 2024 CR 006907, State of Texas versus Craig Ray. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Monica Godetto, attorney of record, Joseph Stateson covering, and will you give this court permission for me to do this in place of Ms. Godetto?
Yes.
All right. And are you Mr. Ray?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, you received all of the discovery. Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Ray, did you review the application for community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? All right. Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand you're charged with driving while intoxicated, third or more? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Mr. Ray, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State recommends community supervision, and there's to be a 2-year Texas driver's license suspension. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
State is at the plea. Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, are there be any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 180 hours of community service restitution, and ignition interlock for a minimum of 3 years. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you review the document entitled waiver with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all of the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we're waiving a PSI which to proceed today, and during sentencing, I had something to add at the appropriate time.
All right, you may proceed.
Your Honor, we negotiated this with the state, and I know that the DA's office has a fine that they assess. They gave me permission to discuss the fine, and I was hoping that we could, with your discretion, lower some costs. Mr. Ray has 3 children, all under the ages of 10. From reading the report, you know that none of the children were in a vehicle at any time. No child was in danger, but he has a warehouse position. It's equivalent to Syntex, laundry, linen.
Mhm.
It's not the best pay. He's having family members pay mortgage. He pays $1,400 a month just for mortgage, 3 kids to feed. He makes about 15 an hour, but he's still struggling. He's had the ignition interlock for 7 months, roughly. And it's not one of the devices that's $90 or $110 a month. He claims it's $140 a month. And it's becoming expensive for him. But we're hoping that you could probate part of the fine or all the fine. And in your discretion, maybe hold some community service hours in advance so that he could spend more time with children. Many times the children have to practice. He has to help transport them. He's aware of a suspension. He's not supposed to drive other than necessity. For occupational, he does have an occupational, but we're hoping that based on children, that you would give him permission to drive his kids to practices and lower any cost for him.
All right. This is what the court will do. The court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years. There's a $1,500 fine that will be probated. 2-year Texas driver's license, 2-year driver's license suspension, 180 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to require parenting classes. Once you complete that, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. There's going to be ignition interlock until further notice. And state, I notate you want 3 years.
Yes.
And that will always be in the file that they're requesting 3 years. But I'm going to do it for until further notice. So do not approach, because normally ignition interlock is half the term, which would be 4 years. So do not approach me asking for removal for ignition interlock before year 2. And for this court, the clock starts running on 2 years beginning today. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider with minors, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There'll be a TAP evaluation out of custody. Follow all recommendations from TAP evaluation. We can do a referral to felony drug court, and that's out of custody. 120 sober meetings in 120 days. DWI education, DWI intervention, and do live victim impact. And there's to be field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. When you drive intoxicated, how old are your children?
8, 6, and 3.
All right, so whenever people are driving and they're intoxicated, guess what? Your children could have been in an accident, hit by an intoxicated driver. And then this will be a whole different conversation and you will be angry, you will be upset. Some people cannot drink alcohol, period, because if they do, they just can't stop. Obviously, you're one of those people, so you're not allowed to drink alcohol at all. And while you're on probation, you cannot drink alcohol. And do not come back to this court saying I was sick and I drank NyQuil or I had some Tylenol and therefore I got a positive. Do not do that. Do not come back to this court saying, oh, I sprayed myself with some cologne and I think it picked that up. Don't do that. So you're put on notice, read whatever. If you have to take medication for a cold or whatever, read what's in it. And if alcohol is in it, then we're going to have a problem. Because if it comes back with a positive and it's proven to be true, then you could potentially be looking at 8 years in the prison. Do you understand? All right. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. If you have an issue, let your probation officer know. If you feel as though they're not addressing you, you can always come back to the court. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you. And thank you for dressing appropriately.
Thank you, Judge.